It is exactly 9 p.m. local time. Good evening from the broadcasting headquarters of TV47 right here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Welcome to the Daily Report. I am George Maringa. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Irene Chabiwot. You can also scan the QR code at the bottom end of your screen to be able to catch more news, views and reviews as well as digital content on our website. We thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the top stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, what happened in Dagoretti High School? School closed indefinitely after a student brawl following an argument that went out of control.
We went there, we talked to the boys, we talked to the leadership, and they agreed. They were going now to live in harmony, and they left. They went and took supper, they went to sleep.
Who will blink fast in the face-off between the county government of Nairobi and the traders who have been operating at the Wakulima market, aka Marikiti? A face-off born of an attempt to decongest and relocate the popular market to Kangunda Road. Impunity or a simple misunderstanding? Is the Kenya Police Service punishing the judge Lawrence Mugambi for sentencing Acting Inspector General Gilbert Masengeli to 6 months in jail for ignoring 6 court summons by allegedly withdrawing his security? The CJ seems to think so.
The security of a judge are tools of trade. They are not just given by the IG. They are given by the Constitution.
We are broadcasting live on terrestrial platforms as well as our website and YouTube. We invite your feedback. You can find us on at TV47 News. You can post to me directly at George Maringa _ across the socials. Use the hashtag Daily Report. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? Despite the order by Governor Johnson Sakaja to redirect any additional trucks ferrying produce to Kangunda Road Market, tension remains high as the Marikiti market traders refuse to move to decongest the already congested road, the already bloated trading center. Peter Njoroge Ndongu, the vice chair of Wakulima Market, now says free will must prevail, as his counterpart in Kangunda Market, Mother Osia, says their adamance on staying in the CBD is a sheer aversion of change and could be politically driven. But what exactly is pushing the current market wars? Our reporter Hibak Said delves into this matter and shelved this report. Take a look.
The contrast is stark between these two markets, meant for one and the same traders who remain torn on where to stay. On one hand is the bustle of a busy market at the heart of the CBD, barely a minute to waste as produce moves from one dealer to another. On the other is a state-of-the-art trading center with amenities that could barely be rivaled in East and Central Africa, but with very few traders to show for it and even less foot traffic to rid sellers of vegetables they've had for days. There is hope that if the Marikiti traders do come here, set up shop and give supplies to some of the traders who are already within these stalls, that this could be a market like no other.
That our intention is for our business people to work in an environment that is good, an environment that looks at the interests of everybody, not just those traders, but also our pedestrians, also those with vehicular traffic.
Wakati walikataa kukuja, now the government ikatake sasa action. Ikapeana ikasema sasa hii soko kwa sababu wale watu wamekataa kukuja, tutarelocate hii soko kwa wale watu walibomolewa Outer Ring Road. So ikafanywa relocation na ikafanywa balloting. So watu wa Marikiti hata saa hii tunawagojea.
The market wars have lasted more than 3 years, but have recently surfaced when push came to shove, and shove turned to a full-on brawl.
Juzi tulikuwa na mshike kidogo, wakati serikali ilikuwa imetupatia notice ya kuondoka na siku moja, lakini tuliona biashara zetu zitahadhirika sana. sababu sisi hapa tayari wakulima market tuko na ready market. Kwenda Kangundo market ni kama kuanza soko ingine mpya.
Beyond the smoke and mirrors, though, is the very real challenges that have pushed traders to two opposing sides. The Wakulima market, known fondly as Marikiti Market, has been in existence since the late 60s, weathering through generations of produce traders, acting as the wholesale center for your local mamamboga. While the new kid on the block, Kangundo Road Market, is the ideal version of the old market with new and shiny amenities meant to make life easier for the traders huddled in the CBD, albeit placed in a very inconvenient location.
Hii soko watu wa Marikiti ndio wenye hii soko. Na tunawangoja wakuje tufunguliwe hii soko. Ndio bila wao hii soko iwezi funguka. Kwa hivyo ile iko ni wakuje tukubaliane na wao. Sisi ni kama watoto wao sasa. Watoto wao watapita aje? Ni kama kichwa na shingo. Shingo itapitaje kichwa?
Hiyo ni willing ya mtu akitaka kwenda Kangundo Road, hakuna mtu amezuia mtu aende Kangundo Road. Unajua biashara zinakuja zikipanuka. Kwa hivyo hata huko Kangundo Road soko kinoga, tutaenda pia si kupeleka mizigo zetu huko. For the time being, lakini sasa hii unajua soko ikiwa mpya bado hakuna customers.
The governor of the capital now issuing a new directive that could see to the gradual move of these traders to Kangundo Road.
The allocations at Kangundo Road for wholesale will proceed.
Wakuje ni person waone ni nini tunasema. Wakifika huku wanajuanga wakirudi wakisema they've never seen anything like this.
Hapa Wakulima market kupanua kwa sisi ni hapa Mudhurwa. Hatufai kusemekana ati tuende kule Kangundo market. Kangundo market kutoka hapa ni kilomita mingi.
So for the next month, with close supervision, the market wars will be subdued with diversion. Hibak Said for TV47.
Thank you, Hibak. Dagoretti High School in Dagoretti South constituency here in Nairobi County was on Monday morning closed indefinitely following students' unrest. According to reports from Kabete Police Station, the school management called for help on Sunday evening following a dispute believed to have emanated from differences of an English Premier League football match results. And as Mike Kagwongo reports, 11 students were rushed to Eagle Nursing Hospital in Kawangware after they sustained injuries following a night fight that had ostensibly turned religious.
Police officers from Kabete have initiated investigations to unravel what transpired inside the walls of Dagoretti High School early Monday morning, after reports of a serious brawl between two student groups. According to reports from students, the fight began as a simple dispute between two of them about the Arsenal versus Tottenham match on Sunday evening, before matters took a bloody turn with fists and kicks flying. A situation that caused the police to intervene and resolve the matter.
So we went there, we talked to the boys, we talked to the leadership, and they agreed. They were going now to live in harmony, and they left. They went and took supper, they went to sleep.
However, as the conflict reignited and worsened later in the night, and according to reports, the clash now involved elements of religion, and the police were compelled to step in again to calm the situation. According to students who sought anonymity, some Sudanese students failed to agree with their counterparts of Somali origin, which sparked a brawl that injured 11 of them.
There was a misunderstanding because of the ball, so we don't know what about the ball. So I think the Somali guy felt offended. So he went and they called his fellow Somalis. So when they came, it's like they wanted to revenge. They came, they started fighting the Sudanese boys. That is when we were called in.
A video seen by TV47 showed the kids wandering around the school premises at night, while some of them were yelling during the altercation. Eagle Nursing Hospital Administrator Joshua Mogeni said the 11 were in stable condition and some had been picked up by their parents.
Most of them, there are minor injuries. We have done, there's no fracture, there's no major casualty. The only casualties were two, the one we attended to and we decided to refer. the parents were in, and then it was a self-request referral.
They were all in a stable condition. There were no serious injuries, though some of them might take time before they recover because of the fractures and all the injuries that they have.
Confirming the incident, Kabete Deputy Sub-County Police Commander Joyce Iminza said investigations had commenced to unravel the truth of what transpired.
Maybe to plan well, to make sure in every school we have intelligence collection.
The school was closed indefinitely following what the school management said was security measures. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike. Away from that, a mob full of anger today raided a homestead in the Nyamosa area of Ugunja constituency, Siaya County, claiming that the owner of the homestead had information about the whereabouts of the missing 3-year-old child who disappeared 6 days ago. And as our reporter Quinto Fuller reports, the parents of the missing child claim that no action has been taken by the security officers even after they reported the incident.
An angry mob vowing not to take heed to anyone's calls. They are crying for justice after their child Candice Aurelia disappeared in mysterious circumstances while visiting a neighbor's homestead, never to be seen again. Those living in the homestead she visited also claimed to have no idea of Candice's disappearance.
Mama John, umeonako Candice? Sasa yeye ananijibu, Mama Candice, si mtoto alikuwa hapa asubuhi na aliambia mwenzi yake ati anaregea kwa nyumba. Sasa kusikia tu hivyo nikarudi tu kwa hiyo boma.
After a tiresome and fruitless search, the family then reported the incident to the police station, and to date, there has been no trace of the young girl.
Sasa sisi chenye tunataka ni serikali tusaidia. Tumeita polisi every now and then. Wakati tulipata sweta tuliwaita, up to now hata kuchukua hiyo familia for investigation wajafanya.
Tumefanya juu chini tafuta mtoto, hatujampata. Asasi ambazo zinashughulika na masuala ya usalama kulingana na sisi ambao tunahuzunika wametepetea.
Na kwa nini mambo kama haya ifanyike? Tunafanya kwa nini? Ukiwa na nia gani? Baadaye unafaidika namna gani?
Sisi tunashuku kuwa ni majirani ambao wanajua mahali huyo mtoto yuko.
Security officers have since intervened in the matter to calm the angry and distressed residents while promising that investigations are continuing and they will do everything possible to ensure that justice is served and truth is known.
Wakiwa hivi hatutajua ukweli, hatutapanga mambo mwingine juu ya ingine. Tukae tu tutasuluhisha hii mambo na nina hakika kwa Mungu mtoto atapatikana.
At the same time, several suspects have been detained to assist in further investigations. Quinto Wafula, TV47.
Thank you, Quinto. Chief Justice Martha Koome has called on the National Police Service to reinstate 2 security officers assigned to Milimani-based High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi. CJ Koome claims the 2 officers were withdrawn on Sunday after Justice Mugambi sentenced Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli to 6 months in jail after being found in contempt of court. Koome stated that these events threaten the independence and functionality of the judiciary and puts the nation at risk of lawlessness. Moiga William with the details.
Chief Justice Martha Koome believes that High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi's security officers were recalled on Sunday. According to Koome, both the driver and the security officer, who are both from the National Police Service, were recalled after Justice Mugambi's decision to sentence Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli to 6 months in jail.
These rights cannot just be withdrawn whimsically, as we have said. The security of a judge are tools of trade. They are not just given by the IG. They are given by the Constitution.
Koome condemned the act and called on the police to reinstate the security officers, claiming that efforts by the Judicial Service Commission to engage the National Police Service on the subject matter had not borne fruit by Monday.
All our efforts to get in touch with them to restore the the personnel to Justice Mugambi were unresponded to. But because we work together under NCAJ, we all serve Kenyans. All the arms of government function together for the service of Kenyans.
Furthermore, Koome argued that these events are a threat to the judiciary's functionality, insisting that the judiciary is independent and its operations will continue without fear of interference.
The act of withdrawing the security of a sitting judge following a judicial decision that displeased certain authorities is deeply concerning. It sends a cheering message to the judiciary and indeed to the public at large.
On Friday, Judge Mugambi sentenced the Acting Inspector General of Police to 6 months in jail for contempt of court and ordered him to present himself to the Cabinet Secretary of Interior or the Commissioner General of Prisons to serve his sentence. However, Mugambi gave Masengeli 7 days to appear in court where he might avoid serving the sentence.
It is not the first time the judiciary has lamented over interference of its independence, calling on all stakeholders to respect a right enshrined in the 2010 Constitution. Mwege William for TV47 at the Supreme Court of Kenya, Buildings, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwege. The Ministry of Health has launched a national training program for master trainers as part of the rollout of the Social Health Authority SHA program set to begin on October 1st. The 2-day training will prepare healthcare professionals to handle the SHA's digital systems, replacing manual processes with a streamlined, transparent approach. The ministry has maintained that SHA rollout will be implemented despite a pending court decision on the program. Anne Odida with more details in this report.
Despite the High Court barring the implementation of the Social Health Authority SHA following a petition that deemed it unconstitutional, the Ministry of Health has vowed to move forward with the rollout scheduled for October 1st.
Since we have been given a stay order, we are therefore proceeding with implementation of the Social Health Authority Act and the Digital Agency Act. So we are basically implementing on the basis of the orders that were granted by the court itself.
The ministry's determination to proceed with the SHA has significant implications for the public as the transition from NHIF to SHA is set to take place on September 30, marking the final day of service delivery under NHIF.
The 30th of September, that will be the end of service delivery under NHIF, and on the 1st of October, we are going to have service delivery under the packages of Social Health Authority.
From October 1st, the healthcare providers will be expected to fully transition to the SHA portal, which aims to digitize healthcare services and streamline operations, replacing the manual systems under NHIF that were prone to fraud and inefficiencies.
Facilities claim to be offering services that are not available, so we are mapping out and also looking at the services that are being delivered. And equally, that will be matched to the digital platform so that we can also monitor.
As part of preparations for this transition, the Ministry of Health has initiated a 2-day training program for master trainers who will be deployed nationwide to train healthcare providers at the county level. Health Director General Dr. Patrick Amoth has emphasized that the SHA will integrate various health systems and enhance the country's health financing architecture.
After this training, we expect the healthcare providers to be able to have real-time data for quick decision making. On top of that, of course, we'll be able to have a better patient experience as they come to seek services.
The program is designed to leverage the country's ICT infrastructure to achieve universal health coverage, with training focusing on digitization, troubleshooting and building the capacity of healthcare workers. The ministry remains optimistic that SHA will transform healthcare delivery by increasing transparency and accountability. Anne Odida, TV47.
Thank you, Odida, for that. Trans Nzoia County Police officers have seized 60 motorcycles which were dismantled and converted into spare parts and sold at one shop in the Sihendu area, Kiminini constituency, and arrested 3 suspects believed to be part of a motorcycle hijacking ring. Isaac Famba has the details.
It was an operation involving police officers from DCI in Trans Nzoia County, partnering with regular police officer in Uasin Gishu County. The officers have been investigating cases of murder of more than 5 people who are all boda operators. According to Trans Nzoia Deputy Commander Selassie Mreidi, some motorcycle was associated with the murder of boda men who were traced to this position.
Suspect mmoja alishikwa jana. Kushikwa jana akiwa na spana kwa mfuko. Walitumia CCTV footage kutoka Eldoret. Ndio wakati sasa amepatikana akareveal ile vitu zote yeye anaiba, ile kazi wote wanafanya, na yeye ndiye amelead askari mpaka hapa wa kutoka Eldoret. Wakakuja hapa na sisi tuko pande hii tukakutana hapa.
Boda riders have now been cautioned to take extra care with their customers, urging them to value lives than property and rest assured that the police will be able to recover their stolen property.
Wale wenye pikipiki mzuri wanatafuta wateja. Wakipata mteja na wanapewa pesa mingi nipeleke mahali. Hizo ndizo zile pikipiki zinachukuliwa na wakikataa wanauawa. So it's just to appeal kwa wenye pikipiki. Ukibeba suspect na uone ameanza kukuthreaten, your life is better than the pikipiki. You accept, ndio ukuje utupe information pikipiki yako imeibiwa, tufuatilie.
Isaac Famba, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Thank you, Isaac. Following the recent university students' strike against the new funding model, President William Ruto has appointed a national working committee to review the new university education funding model in an effort to enhance access to quality, relevant and affordable university education. Anastasia Mukabi reports.
Shortly after university students held their demos against the new education funding model, the president has gazetted 129 names of individuals today who will review the new model. They were categorized into 4 work streams and each will be chaired by appointed leaders. The first work stream will work on review and refinement of the funding model for TVETs and will be chaired by Kairuti Kanyiga and co-chaired by Deborah Zainab. The second work stream will work on appeals arising from the categorization of students into various eligibility bands for allocation of scholarship and loans and will be chaired by Walubengo Waningilo and co-chaired by Lucy Machugu. The third work stream will work on structure of student loans and it will be chaired by Robert Odwor and co-chaired by Aaron Kiprotich. Last work stream will work on the review of the cost of university academic programs and it will be chaired by Mohamed Rajab and co-chaired by Patrick Malanga. This new committee will be led by Professor Japheth Misheni Ntiba and they are mandated to review the efficacy of the new funding model, evaluate the effectiveness of the means testing instrument, establish the potential of the new funding model to steer the nation towards the sustainable funding, analyze and make recommendation for the rationalization of the cost of university programs, and review the structure of student loans with regard to the terms of the loans. They will operate for a period of 8 weeks with its mandate to provide reports and recommendation to the President through the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Julius Ogamba. Anastasia Mkabi, TV47, Nairobi.
Sports News brought to you.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
As number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
As number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, Grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
You're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who are
Welcome back. You're watching The Daily Report with me, George Maringa. Assisting on sign language is Irene Chebiwot. Imagine what life would be like if you were constantly afraid and unsure who your enemy is, when, where, and how will they attack. Now imagine establishing a life, raising a family, and pursuing education in such an environment. The Kenyans on the North Rift have lived like this, the communities of Samburu, Pokot, and Turkana. Nonetheless, because of the persistent and effective peace efforts, this is gradually becoming a thing of the past. TV47's team traveled to the North Rift in order to determine precisely how much the peace efforts have so far achieved, and now presents to you the Kapedo Peace Files, a report that I shall be leaving you with. I am George Maringa. As I mentioned, on sign language has been Irene Chebiwot. I will see you tomorrow. Good night from Nairobi.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Security, with cattle rustling and inter-community conflicts being their norm. Today, their story is different.
One of the political leaders told me, if you really want to talk about peace, go to Kapedo and come back alive. I will gift you.
Peace meetings like these have been crucial. The government, local leaders, and international peace missions have facilitated dialogue and reconciliation among the warring communities. Disarmament programs and increased police presence have also played a vital role in restoring peace.
Ndani ya msitu watu wanakaa peke yao. So shida moja ni kwamba ni serikali kuangalia maneno area hii na kuweka kwa mpango. Iwe ni strategy ambayo ni tofauti na sehemu zingine. Ndio itamaliza hii maneno, lakini sasa watu wakiachwa tu peke yao. Alafu naambiwa mkae kwa amani.
People have also been affected by this conflict over time. Trauma healing, reconstruction, rebuilding trust, and even livelihood reconstruction. Because people have lost all. If you are raided and you lose all your livelihood, the only option you have is somebody has to lift you up.
Sisi tunataka amani. Sasa kila siku Pokot anakuja kuchokoza sisi. Sisi tunakaa tu pamoja.
Na ya mambo yatanya nyari yote atanyamaniche.
Wakati mtu anauliwa hakuna hata mwenye anakula mwingine.
Toto nate tomorai. Na meka mzuri.
Mangoroko wote yenye wako msituni wakuja wote ili tuwe watu pamoja.
For years, community clashes, cattle rustling and attacks on security forces have been the order of the day. Peace has been an elusive goal for every government. Well, the people of the North Rift have had enough. Let us take you back to some distressing stories of attacks and the government's intervention to quell the unrest. On our first day in Kapedo, we met 21-year-old Caleb Lomada and 23-year-old Musa Makal. They are former bandits and now students at Mogotio Vocational Training College.
Hata mimi nishapeleka mwenye alikuwa na trazi mpaka akakufia mikono yangu, mimi nikaacha nikachukua bunduki na nikaenda.
Kitambo ilikuwa inachukuliwa mtu mwenye amesoma inachukuliwa kama si mwanaume, lakini sasa wameanza kujua sasa.
They share their stories of deadly raids and the chilling moments they encountered as bandits that forced them to turn over a new leaf.
Nikifikiria tu ule jamaa mwenye aliuliwa brother yangu, hapo sasa ndio akili yangu nasikia tena kuua mtu, lakini ile tu Mungu alikuwa anakata ni mtu.
Ndio tupate hiyo maoni ya hiyo vita ishe, ni kuleta tu hao vijana marafiki zangu shule. Kwa sababu hawa sasa ndio wanatusumbua tu.
Approximately 2 hours drive from Marigat and deep in the bush lies Kagir. On our way, we stopped by the Moinonin area. 2 months ago, residents of Kagir had pitched a tent here as IDPs. There was an IDP camp that had hosted about 3 months ago, had hosted, some of the villagers of Kagir, where we are at right now. We've driven all the way right inside the bush. But right inside the bush, it's a home for very many people. They had fled this place a couple of months ago because of the insecurities they're in. But then again, it's a beautiful story to hear that they are back home and they are confident that finally security is here. They're confident that finally they get to enjoy peace. And so I'm seated with the ladies who had gathered here to just tell us this experience and the story behind this.
Kila mahali tu nao wakora wanatembea kila mahali na mapunduki na ng'ombe yao.
Kuja pukuta akakuja kupukusa sisi, akakuja kudisha ng'ombe yake hata mlima, hata nyasi yote kila kitu akachukua.
Iko kwa kambi sasa. Bado manyumba yamepolemewa yote.
The bandit attacks forced thousands of families, particularly women and children, to flee their homes and seek refuge in the Moinonin IDP camp.
Tulikuja wote mpaka kitenda mimba wote, kila mtu.
Rebecca Chipsergon attends to her husband's grave. She returns home time and again to do so as she checks on her house.
Naona hii pimbo imebaki tu peke yake. Hii pimbo yake imebaki. Na hiyo kalabashwa kakonga hiyo. Unapasua. Sasa kitanda yangu ilikuwa hapa na hiyo kitanda ilikuwa mpya sana. Wakang'oa wacha hii ya mzee. Mahali tuko sasa ni kaburi yake. Mahali mzee alipumzisha wakati wakora waliua yeye.
Her husband, Joseph Kibet, the Kagir Primary School head teacher, was killed by bandits on February 10, 2024. Despite being visually impaired, he was a committed and result-oriented educator.
Ye ilikuwa mambo yote kwa nyumbani. Hata watoto yetu kuenda shule ni yeye.
Wa serikali kwa sababu kama ngeitisha na kuna madio, kuna machips. Sasa hapo ndio wako nguvu kuliko mambo yote. Unamsema nasemekana Mungu namba 2 ni nani? Ni serikali.
She recounts the events of that fateful day.
Sasa kumbe hii wakora wenye wako nyuma wakaweka risasi nyuma hapa. Sasa yeye akaanguka chini. Wakati alianguka chini, mimi nikawachana na yeye, nikaanza mbio. Hata mimi nikatoroka.
They were headed to an annual general meeting at Kipchere Secondary School when the bandits struck.
Watoto yangu wamesoma huko pale, wanaendelea na shule. Usuri ni wakati niliomba shule nikapewa. Kila mtu asema nimeona kwa TV hiyo mwalimu, hiyo huruma tu tunahurumia yeye, wacha watoto wakuje shule.
Since her husband's death, life has never been the same.
Na nilikuwa tajiri, nilikuwa na mbuzi, nilikuwa na ng'ombe, ikaenda yote. Sasa hiyo nilikuwa tunauza kama ni senge 10, mtoto ameenda shule. Nilitaka nikule mbuzi, nasikia leo tunataka tukule nyama, mzee anasema muende muangalie boma. Mtoi mbuzi ile mnatosha nyinyi.
Rebecca takes us around her semi-permanent house, perhaps the only home standing in the neighborhood after bandits demolished houses, stealing cattle and property. A spirit of tension hovers around. The villagers seem timid, uncertain of what will happen next. But beneath this timidness lies mixed feelings of rage to fight back and the desire to end the long-standing war between the Pokot and the Turkana.
Hatuna OP hata moja kwa huko polisi. Hatuna.
Kila mtoto ya area hii akiona tu hiyo mtu anasema tu ni kuua. Hata kama anataka usalamia, anasema tu ni kuua. Hata kama ni mzuri.
Meters away from the tents is Kagir Primary School. The students look sad but hopeful of recovering the lost time after a long break. There are consistent meetings held by villagers with the hope of addressing their underlying concerns and achieving lasting peace.
The government has a scheme, one, to compensate people, two, to rehabilitate.
Silaha mingi ikikuwa katika community, hakuna amani. Kwa hivyo tungeomba serikali tu waangalie wachukue hii maneno ya mabunduki.
Once, developments, roads come in, energy and water comes in, people will gradually start adapting that there is other ways by which people can live.
This is day 3 of our visit. We have driven past the once declared most dangerous Kapedo Bridge and the deadly Seguta Valley. What we find here is a masterpiece. Under the heavens, the flowing water, the waves gently crashing, creating a soothing sound. My colleagues dive into the waters, which I am told are a combination of both hot and cold temperatures that never get to mix. The wonders of Mother Nature. The green scenery is to die for, and the birds sing, signaling that we are marching into peaceful grounds. Not far from here, we are having a lunch before these Turkana and Pokot gentlemen return to the peace talks that have been ongoing for a week. Most are seated on their ekchoros.
I've noticed almost all the men are carrying this small thing, and I wanted to understand just what it is. Ekchoro is what they call it. Ekchoro is a small seat that most of the men will move around with, that once they perhaps get into the fields, into the bush, then they would sit on.
Kuna wale ambaye ni expert, wanajua kushonga hii, ndio wengine pia wanahusia, wengine pia wana try, wanafunza wale wengine.
These traditional seats are strictly for the men, as are the peace talks at this stage. The women and children, who are mostly vulnerable, will be invited in the last stages.
So women, they are the ones suffering. Elders, children, women, they are the sufferers. Those who are killing them, they are these youth whom we have invited for this meeting. Those are we don't have a factory at the Turkana Pokot. We have a factory for guns and bullets. It is the government who has those factories. It is the government who purchased those guns.
Lakini sasa hatuwezi sema mchenga ni ya nani ama ni ya nani, kwa sababu sisi zamani wakati tulisaliwa hapa tukapata Wapokot na Waturkana wanaishi pamoja.
Despite ego fights and finger pointing, the men who have come from far and beyond are determined to end this war.
Afadhali tukue ya amani, hapo sasa mbuzi yakaenda safari moja akule nyasi.
Benson Lukwa, once a bandit, is now a Kenyan police reservist. His commitment is to all communities, despite being a Turkana from Kamuge.
Mimi ni KPR. Bado mimi nachunga tu wananchi wote. Sioni kama nachunga Pokot ama Waturkana, nachunga tu wote. Wote ni wa Kenya.
The Kenya Police Reserve KPR was formed in 1948 to assist the regular Kenya Police in maintaining law and order, mostly in rural areas of Kenya. Successful talks culminated in a night of dance. Here, the best dancer wins the best woman. The Pokot men will spend their night in Turkana East constituency to consummate their peace agreement. Our final drive takes us to Baragoi. It is Friday. It has been a long safari past Tangul Bay to Mararal. Approximately 3.5 hours later, we reach our destination at 10 p.m. Word has it that there was a raid in Gilai sublocation that night. Chills ran down our spines. We managed to find a place to sleep, gathering more details the next day.
Well, the next time I'm going to come here, I'll carry some marbles for the oldies. This is Ngelai village in Baragoi. One of the reasons why we came here is because we had the reports where one gentleman or one man who was herding his goat was actually captured somewhere in the bush by bandits, and therefore we just came up to follow up, or we just came here to follow up on what really played out in relation to that. And of course we'll be speaking to the elders here. But before then, there's some beautiful thing that I noticed here. It is about the game. What game inaitwaje? Ndotoi. The elderly are engaging in some nice nikarata tu, sindio?
Yeah, nikarata tu.
Yeah, kucheza. Okay, well, they're playing their games. I do not understand. I think I need to learn some bit as to what then this game is all about.
We visit Mzele Purke Leshoi's homestead. He is not in, but we find his wife Antonella Leshoyi, who's a minor, his kids, and Goreya, the mother. She is deeply saddened, tears rolling down her cheeks. The son, who is out recording a statement with the police, encountered bandits who stole 100 of his goats.
Msuri kumuua huyo hada, walishukua alafu akashukua mpaka certain distance, wakamuachilia harudi, wakaenda na mbuzi.
The area chief, John Lesoloya, confirms the incident but appreciates the tremendous efforts to address insecurities in Baragoi. While all that remains are the goat kids jumping around and a huge empty space where the stolen goats once called home, Senior Chief Lesoloya is relieved that the four took.
Sasa polisi wameelekea huko na administration officers na NPR, na tunatumai hizo mbuzi itarudi. Kwa sasa tumekuwa na utulivu, hatujakuwa na any incidents mingi kama vile ilikuwa hapo mbeleni.
Ukilinganisha mtu na mali, nafikiri mwenye thamani ni nani? Ni binadamu. Na ndio sasa wengine jana walikuwa nasema hai, afadhali sana, tunashukuru hata wao hizi waliwachilia hii msee.
Thomas Slemero, former chief of Baragoi town, recounts the grim and violent days since 1996.
Madam, hakuna kitu tunasikia shungu kama mtu na rape yako ikuwa anaangalia tu. Afadhali kunitoa wai baadaye rape. I'm sorry, I'm very very sorry madam. Marisasi na si marisasi kidogo. Na limu mpaka kwa wakati mwingine hata pumbi alipunika mimi. Akanipunika pumbi akanipunika, si huwa nafikiria kama mimi iko na mwili hata kidogo.
He urges the government to intensify efforts to mitigate the devastation caused by relentless banditry.
Wajane wengi sana hapa ambao wangetosha kusaidiwa tu, wale ambao waathirika yani mabanda sawa waliathirika, na si kuathirika kwa sababu ya kwenda kutafuta vita, walipikwa tu ndani ya mali yao. Sababu unajua sasa hii mali hawezi kuja kuchukuliwa tu na wanaume kwa wanaangalia.
Serikali tumejaribu kuziba mianya kwa sababu huwa inasemekana nyingi huwa zinatoka nje ya nchi yetu.
Thomas and other leaders stressed the urgency of disarming civilians and initiating developmental programs for the youth. During the amnesty period, more than 300 guns were surrendered.
Pokot, ikuwe ni Waturkana, ikuwe ni Wasaburu, zote hizi communities tatu zote ziko na bunduki. Na bunduki nyingi zile wako nazo ni bunduki haramu. Zile ambazo sisi kama serikali hatujui wako na bunduki aina gani, hatujui wako na bunduki ngapi, hatujui wako na risasi ngapi, lakini ile ukweli ni kwamba hao watu wako na bunduki.
Madam kama ilikuwa kuwezekana kutolewa bunduki kwa raia. Ilikuwa kitu ya maana sana.
Lakini mbona hiyo ikitolewa inachomwa?
Ya, nachomwa kwa sababu akitolewa sana jina ni mambo ya serikali, nachomwa sana, hakuna maana.
Several measures, including deployment of elite security forces known as Wajakoya, feared for their thorough investigations and bandit interception tactics, and the formation of peace committees, have proven effective. Despite these efforts, insecurity looms, casting a shadow over development and prosperity. Hassan advocates for the creation of additional climate-resilient model farms like the one in Kambiamoto, Nakuru, to generate employment and produce substantial quantities of pasture for pastoralists.
We don't need to bring new development. We need to build what people know. People know livestock keeping. That's their main economy. And it is good for the government to now invest in further production at scale.
Kwa maziwa inaongezeka haraka ya inaongezeka haraka.
Well, the grass itself, coming all the way from China, is called jinkao, and the farm as well is called jinkao, as you have had. And so let's speak to some of the workers that actually work here, so they can also tell us their experience. I mean, you do not come to a farm and not speak to the people who handle the farm.
Tuko na silage, tuko na bauda, pellets, chakula ya kuku, tunalisha all the animals, mbuzi, wanakula vizuri sana.
Can say imemake a difference in our lives. Tumeimprove manyumba zetu, watoto naweza kusoma, tunaweza lisha jamii.
Pia mimi ni mfanyikazi hapa. Nimefanya for long but imenisaidia hii kazi sana.
The Chinese jinkao grass cultivated on 1 acre can adequately feed 20 cows. Resembling sugarcane rather than the local napier grass, its softer leaves reach maturity for harvesting in just 3 months. The Kenya Agriculture and Livestock Research Organization says that only 10% of farming is devoted to fodder cultivation in Kenya, leading to a fodder shortage.
Naona hii chungao ndio itakuwa jawabu ya ile conflicts ya kila wakati, kwa sababu hii haita si kitu yenye ni expensive sana, mtu ataweza koza kupanda na watakuwa napigania pale pamoja na wanajua kuna penye hii kitu inauzwa. Hii itamaliza hiyo konfi.
In search of lasting peace, religion too has played a huge role.
Hapo awali tulikuwa tunakaa vizuri na wenzetu Turkana. Tulikuwa tunashirikiana katika mikutano ya crusade, conferences. Tulikuwa tunasoma hata pamoja, lakini all of a sudden shetani akainuka.
Katika ile njia ya kuwaleta pamoja, ilileta watu walitasamana na waliona ya kwamba hala, kumbe watu tu wote ni wazuri. Kwa hivyo kukawa na ile mazungumzo.
As this family invites me to their home for a dance, and as the students proceed to school, and as these women are fishing to put food on their table, the questions linger. Will peace hold? When will government bring us better roads, hospitals, schools, banks, and all that is about development? It should be documented that for the 6 days I have been here, I have only seen one single means of public transport, a Nissan Matatu. Like in The Playwright by Samuel Beckett, the North Rift is asking, are we waiting for Godot?
Baba, naomba nitengwe nawe milele. Oh, it is beautiful to see just how much life and hope these kids have. And while you might want to ask yourself just why peace is important, just why these cases of insecurity should indeed be a game of the past, well, the answer is clear. Of course, this generation is dependent on the peace and security of this place. My name is Linda Alela, reporting all the way from Kageri in Maringa North. Baba, naomba nitengwe nawe milele. Baba, naomba nitengwe nawe milele.